Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So says the first black president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, of blessed memory. It's time for another Time Out with the Eagle, your anti-corruption program from the stables of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The program is reaching you on the network service of the NTA. Our searchlight today is on curbing corruption in the education sector. I'm Martha Eche, your anchor. Stay with us. It's the Eagle on the NTA, and the matter on the table today is curbing corruption in the education sector. No one can fully measure the extent to which good education can lift a nation. African-American human rights activist Malcolm X understood this truth when he said, and I quote, "Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it," end of quote. We can say then that education is the passport that opens doors to good healthcare system, good roads, good potable water, machinery for farming, and lots of other things that make life better. And that means when education is threatened, there is problem for the future generation. According to the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights, education is a fundamental human right. One major factor that can deal education with a heavy blow and take this right away from the people is corruption. Corruption can occur in the areas of policy making, planning, and school management. For the Nigerian educational system, what form does corruption take? Answering our questions today on curbing corruption in the education sector is Executive Director, Daisy's Academy Abuja, Mrs. Joyce Obioha. And she begins by telling us what the causes of corruption in schools are.
Causes that I think are economic and political environment of our polity. Nigeria is a country that is riddled with corrupt practices, corrupt leadership, and this trickles down to every other segment of the country, especially the educational sector. So I think that largely corruption in the educational system is as a result of corrupt practices in government, the leadership as a whole, and professional ethics, lack of morality in the society in general. I think these are the most common causes of corruption in the educational system.
Now, what kind of corrupt practices go on in the education system? Mrs. Obioha has the answer.
The examples of these corrupt practices are nepotism. Some people are being elected into key offices and they have no business being there. Some lack the educational qualification. Some lack the prowess to be in any office. And this speaks in the outcome of some of the resultant effects of these wrong judgments. I wouldn't want to go into details, but all I know is that key offices being occupied by some persons ought not to be, largely because they belong to a certain part of the country and are being elected by favoritism. I don't think that should be.
Narrowing it down to students now, what are the forms of corruption that we find among school children?
We hear a lot, children are being exposed to examination malpractices, and these malpractices are some schools support this, all in the bid to make a name or to get population. You find schools helping children in their examinations. I've had experiences about that where children are helped in exams just so they can do well, and that may speak good of the school. I think that is one of the things I think is a corrupt practice in school.
In what ways has the system failed in curbing corruption among students and other stakeholders in the sector?
The education system has failed by having academic violations. Like I said, bribery, nepotism, favoritism in school admissions, employment, appointments, licensing of educational facilities, and diversion of funds. You see funds being made for books and laboratories being diverted, exploitation of school children. Some of these public schools, you find students also paying fees that ordinarily should be free. So you also find unqualified teachers.
Every sector of the economy has factors challenging its progress, but there is hope where there are solutions. For corruption in the education sector, what does Mrs. Joyce Obioha think could help curb the problem?
I think first of all is transparency. There should be a form of transparency. The government should come clean and, tell us this is how it is. You hear so many things. You get to hear that someone is earning this, someone is earning that. Government should publish these things. I think there should be accountability. There should be audits, participatory budgets. If government should tell us that so amount has been budgeted for maybe UBE, for instance, and was this money utilized for what it was voted for? Who is being held accountable if these things are not done? What is being done? Let's not create this environment where people go into office, they do what they like and they get away with it. That's what I mean by transparency. Let government come clean. I don't like this, I want to fight corruption. This is how I'm going to fight it. And these are the examples. This is what we've done in the past. This is what we're doing to check these things. Are the children getting this? You hear money is being voted for certain things. Who is monitoring these monies? Who is checking this? What is happening? When it's not being done, who is accountable for it? That's what I mean by transparency. In that way, there will be confidence. People will start synergizing with government to bring about change. You find international organizations coming in.
Now, time for your final words on educating school children on the dangers of corrupt practices and how to shun them.
I would say, like I always preach, do what you say and follow up on that. Make time, spend time with your children. After all this, would you rather raise a rattlesnake? Would you rather go looking for all this money and at the end of the day you find your children on drugs? you find your children wayward. What will all this money mean to you if you are a failed parent, if you're a failed adult? My advice is that this is not just for government, it's the work for everybody. Corruption is eating deep into this country and it is crippling every corner, not just education, health. During COVID, you saw what happened. There were no equipped hospitals. People died out of negligence, out of their own making. It was evident that Nigeria was in a mess. We couldn't access health services because of our carelessness and recklessness. So I think it's not just for the government, it's a call for everyone. It's a call for everyone, all hands must be on deck. This is not, like I read an article where someone was saying that if we all take Nigeria as a family, as our family, we won't want to steal from it. Nobody wants to steal from his family and go squandering with someone else. You would rather take from somewhere and bring to your family. So if we all have that mindset that Nigeria is our place, this is the only country we have, we don't have any other, I think that will start reorientating our mindset and that of our children. And in that way, we can curb corruption in Nigeria.
It's The Eagle, your anti-corruption program from the EFCC. And today it's all about curbing corruption in the education sector. Now, corruption can take any form, any shape to manifest itself in our schools. No matter what form it takes, our children surely wouldn't want to be a part of it. We had a chat with some school children on the issues concerning corruption in the school system, what they want to see in their schools as they resume for the first time in 2021.
I expect the government to be able to pay our teachers fastly so that there will not be delay in their payment of their salaries. I expect the government to be able to fumigate our school. I expect the government to be able to fumigate our school. I expect the government to be able to investigate the school whether they are following the coronavirus prevention, that means washing their hands. I expect the government to be able to provide some learning program that will enhance the students in learning quickly. I expect the government to be also to provide more equipment in our lab, especially with the science students, so that we're able to know things in practical than hearing theories. I expect the government to be able to also employ more teachers so that we have more than one teacher, so that we'll not be changing teacher every time.
I want them, moreover, they are doing their best against to pay our school fees since the COVID-19 period. COVID-19 have taken away some other parents' job. So I want the government to bring more jobs so that the parents will be employed and also to pay the children's school fees.
In school this year, I expect that the government should provide library, sports materials, other school materials that we need for our easy learning and for us so that we can read well. Like the library, the government should provide this so that those dull people, they can pick up, and those people that know how to read very well, they can add to their own knowledge. And games and sports materials, the government should provide them so that we can become all those people like the footballers. It's from like the schools and the games materials they practice and learn how to reach that level.
I want my parents to get me complete textbooks and give me qualified food baskets. They'll give me good education and they should give me exercise books for learning. They should give me my materials for learning. And in my primary 5, my teacher would like to get books for common entrance. So I would like my parents to get me the books for the common entrance. And my teacher need necessary things like calculators and mark sets. So I would like my parents to get me some. I want my daddy to pay my school fees. I want him to buy me new textbook, and I want him to change my uniform for me.
Such laudable wishes. But corruption can wash all these wishes away if the right things are not put in place. Mrs. Anna Ayara is the proprietress, Ivory Tower International School, Masaka, Karo local government area of Nasarawa State, and she speaks on the effects corruption in the school system can have on the children.
It has a lot of effects in all its ramifications, spiritually, mentally, and psychologically. Let me talk about the psychological impact on the part of the learners. The children will not have confidence in themselves, especially if the school owners, especially private school or even government schools, they are also involved in the malpractice. You know, if the school management is involved, you know, it has a very devastating effect on the children. The children will not have confidence in themselves. They will not be able to achieve their potentials in the sense that they will not study. They will be waiting for, you know, mercenaries to help them write the exams or teach them, bribe supervisors and what have you. So they will not be able to achieve their potentials. What I mean by that is that they will not be able to maximize the gift of God in them, the ability, the natural ability God has given to them. It will be cut short. And it's not too good for the children. And then self-esteem, they will not have confidence in themselves. They will always be looking for help at any time. Meanwhile, the ability is in them. God has given them the natural endowment. But if malpractice is encouraged in any school, it will really affect them. And then the spiritual aspect is that I'm a Christian, and we believe that the soul that sinned shall die. If you involve in malpractice, of course, you want to go to hellfire, which is the ultimate for us Christians. I don't know about Islam anyway, but I think it's the same thing too.
Do you know that even with these effects in mind, some parents still push school management to promote corrupt practices? Let's hear how this happens from the proprietress of the Excel Kiddies Academy in Karo, Nasarawa State, Blessing Godwin Ogbe.
Yes, most parents do that in the case of coming to me behind their husband, telling me to add to the normal school fee, that I should tell the husband that this is the amount that we are paying in the school here. And by the time I object to that I am not part of it, they got annoyed. They get annoyed, and in fact, yesterday one tested me that I don't want to help her again. I told her that it's not like that. So parents are contributing, telling me to add to the normal fee, tell their husband, and the man unknowingly he will accept that and know that that's the normal fee we are paying, whereas it's not.
Of all the corrupt practices in schools, examination malpractice tears at the heart of Idakbo Edo Emmanuel, a teacher.
The high level of exam malpractices in the school system is very alarming, if I may say. I have been in teaching field for years, and I've come to discover that this has been a very serious problem that is confronting the success of our students in school system. This corrupt practice, what I call it corrupt practice, is just that the management of most of the schools tend to overlook it as if they were never aware of it. Whereas they know very well that things like this is happening in the school system. If we could stamp out this kind of acts in the school system, I do believe within myself, based on the training I have had, that the system will be standardized and everything will go very properly.
You may be asking yourself now, why does corruption exist in our schools? Why is the education sector suffering in the hands of some corrupt people, parents, teachers, and students alike? Samuel Inaligwe Eche is a teacher, and he proffers some answers.
I'm thinking all these things happen and they are in existence because sometimes students are not well prepared for their examination, and some parents also add to this. For example, you as the teacher correcting the parents now, the parent will just come from the house, bang on your gate and start shouting, why did you flog my child? Why did you do this? Why are you trying to correct the child? That is one aspect, and parents should try as much as possible to reduce these things, because if you trust the school enough to bring your child to school, you should also trust the teachers to be able to correct your children as well. So,
an educationist, Stephen Nathan Amangu, believes that to tackle the problem of corruption among learners, two groups central to the development of children must join forces.
I believe so much beyond what the teachers do in school. The parents of the students have a very great role to play, and then their discipline, what they do at home, they tend to bring it into the school. So I think a way out is to ensure that there be systems in monitoring the activities of students, liaising with their parents at home, so that whatever they learn in school as a system of living their life, that's their character first, should be the same thing they display back there at home. Because I think most times when you teach them what to do in school, their friends out there at home who didn't learn these things with them may mislead them against what they've learned in school.
Now, closing the program today is the advice of the proprietress, Ivory Tower International School, Masaka, Karu Local Government Area, Nasarawa State, Mrs. Anna Ayara.
Let me start with the students. Number one, I want to encourage every one of them that their destiny should be in their hands. They should know that in this issue, it is them. So they should not allow any teacher or proprietor or proprietress or principal to encourage them to be involved. They should read. WAEC, NECO, NAPTEP always set exam within the syllabus. And they will not go outside the syllabus to set any examination. And to me, these three examination bodies are very fair in marking and in scoring the students. So they should just go with that confidence. Just want to encourage the students that they should have confidence in themselves, and then encourage themselves that, look, oh, my destiny is in my hand and nobody should corrupt my life. Therefore, I must burn the midnight candle and make my parents proud. That's for the students. Then for school owners, I want to encourage my fellow school owners and principals that are in a government establishment that we should be careful with the way we train up these children. We should know that we have an account to give to the Almighty God. And if we corrupt them, God is going to ask us and is going to judge us. And then we should make serious efforts to make sure that our teachers, the people that we employ, or our employees are up and doing in their job, complete the scheme, give the children all that they need to make it in the various exams. So that's my own encouragement to the school owners and to the principals in government schools. And then to the teachers, they should be satisfied with whatever God has blessed them with. They should not encourage the children to be bringing nonsense money. All those money will not take them anywhere. It will not bless them. God will only bless whatever you get in the right way. But if you have made up your mind to collect nonsense money in order to help children to pass, that one is not even help as far as I am concerned. You are destroying their destiny. So I will encourage them to just look unto God and be satisfied with the little they are earning, and then also put their hands in small businesses after school lesson, and other small businesses that they can do within their environment to help their status.
Every year, governments allocate money to education. These monies must be put to proper use so that issues of inadequate funding, unavailability of teachers, dilapidated structures, lack of writing materials, corruption in recruitment, posting and promotion, and all other forms of corrupt practices in the education sector can be squarely dealt with. The Eagle calls on governments, teachers, parents and students and all stakeholders to join hands together and kick corruption out of our school system. We appreciate you staying with us on this edition of The Eagle. We'll be back same time, same station next week. Please send us your email on theeagle@efccnigeria.org. I take it again, theeagle@efccnigeria.org. On all our social media platforms, it's at official EFCC. If you have petitions, please send them to info@efccnigeria.org. Again, info@efccnigeria.org. For personal visits concerning matters of economic and financial crimes, our offices in the 14 zones across the country and the corporate headquarters in Abuja are open to you. My name is Martha H. saying goodbye and God bless Nigeria.